most vegans, including myself, were not born vegan. We all grew up eating animal flesh, dairy and eggs. And then somewhere along the way we started questioning, why are we using animals, killing animals, when we don't actually have to? And some people start questioning, like, I feel healthier without it, why am I doing it? Or it's actually bad for the environment, or it's cruel to the animals. People come to it from different directions. And then at some point you make the connection, this piece of animal flesh or animal product on your plate actually used to belong to an animal that didn't want to be used, didn't want to be abused or killed. They actually didn't want to die. And then you realize that all the other animals have a value in themselves. Their life has a value. Just because we're human beings and we call ourselves intelligent, we think we have a special value, but that's actually just something that we made up ourselves. We don't have more value than any other living being. So you realize that, and then you suddenly see, what have I been doing my whole life to all these innocent creatures? You know, they're here with us on the planet, and we've been part of the abuse, the massive abuse that we put them through every day, and slaughter. And then you wonder, how can I have just gone through my whole life so far without questioning this? And then you wonder, my friends, my family, why are they not questioning this? And how can I have been living this lie my whole life? And it's really like waking up. And then you become vegan, and then you want to help other people become vegan. You want to make them understand as well. You don't have to do this, you know, you don't want to harm animals. And we kind of try and help people reconnect with the innocent child that they once were, before they were conditioned, thinking that some animals is okay to abuse, it's all fine, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay in this day and age. It's 2016, we don't need to use animals. They deserve to be in peace. So that's most vegans, I think. But then there are a few people that are actually born vegan. And I met two of those, sister and brother, Jarious and Khadi from Australia. So their parents were vegan, and then they raised their kids vegan from birth. So their story is a bit different, and for them vegan is normal, you know, that's a normal thing. And then eating animals, drinking milk from a cow, and eating eggs that comes out of a hen's backside is just weird, you know. So let's hear what they have to say. I had some problems with the camera, unfortunately, so a short bit into the interview is going to change like to another camera, because I had my GoPro with me as well, so lucky I had that. So the quality changes a little bit. Okay, let's hear what they have to say. So I'm here with Forever Vegan and that vegan dancer girl, the vegan dancer girl on YouTube. That's a YouTube channel. And I want to start by asking, what is veganism, or what is a vegan?
In my eyes, a vegan is someone who does not unnecessarily use sentient non-human animals for any purpose, whether that be for food, clothing, entertainment, cosmetics, anything of the sort. A lot of people view veganism as simply about the food, but there are so many other aspects to it. And if we kind of look at the original definition created in 1944, it's just to live a life free from exploitation of animals. And that's how I view it, and that's what I like to talk about on my YouTube channel. That's how I like to kind of promote veganism.
So you are a sister and brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were raised vegan, right?
Yes.
Yes.
From birth?
Yes.
From birth.
How do you feel about animals being used the way they are today, like for food, clothing, and entertainment, for example? How does it feel for you?
I am strongly opposed to all forms of animal use. I can understand that a lot of people still can't understand the problem with zoos or circuses or something like that, because they've just been brought up thinking that's okay, but it's all just as immoral as the other thing. Honey, horse riding, meat, dairy, it's all the same. It's all exploitation, and I'm against all of it.
Yeah, I guess for me, I still can't wrap my head around, like, yeah, why people can't understand it. It's just, I guess, yeah, it's just conditioning. Like, you know, people have just grown up with that, so it's just so ingrained. But, yeah, like, when you think about it and you're like, this is going on, like, every second of every day, like, it gets you, like, yeah, really upset. And then you've just got to continue on and just, yeah, do your best to make people aware about it.
Yeah. So what was it like being vegan in school? Were you, like, treated as outsiders? Were there any other vegans in your school?
The first school we went to was like a Steiner school, like back of Nimbin, and so that was a bit more accepting. People were kind of vegetarian or aware of vegan, so the weekly tuck shop, there was always like vegan options. And then I think 2 years into school, an all vegan tuck shop was put on, so we were lucky. I didn't really receive too much like, you know, teasing or hate from it. People were just thought we were a bit, you know, weird and different, but it was accepted. But he had a bit of a different experience at a different school.
Yeah, at my second school in Newcastle, I was about 15, I believe. That was so much different to the Nimbin area, so I did receive a fair bit of bullying. The famous thing was I was called Soy Boy. That was my kind of bullying name. It wasn't too bad. I remember the first day I attended that school, they passed around a big jar of honey because they had bees at the school. They were doing beekeeping, and every kid was dipping in, eating honey, and then 5 minutes of being at this school for the first time, I had to say, no, I can't eat that. And then it started, why can't you eat honey? What's wrong with honey? So it was a bit abrupt, but I explained I'm vegan and I don't like exploitation. So.
What about Veggie? Didn't you get that too?
Yeah, Veggie, that was another name. But Soy Boy is better, I think. It has more of a ring to it.
I like Soy Boy. It's good.
Yeah. What is your favourite food?
Ooh.
I'm just going to say durian. It's a recent discovery that I've found since being in Thailand. I love the taste of it. It's like vanilla fluffiness, and it has so many calories, so you can make a meal out of it. But there's so many other things I love, but I'm just going to go with durian.
Nice. Mangoes, bananas, papaya, jackfruit, lychees, basically all fruit.
Yeah.
And sweet potatoes.
Love sweet potato.
Yeah.
How has your outlook on the world, and especially the modern society, changed throughout your life?
It's pretty fucked. I hope you don't mind swearing on your channel. Like, yeah, like when you think about it, like people just have no idea. Like you go, you know, to countries and they're just like in the shopping malls and, you know, blasting aircon and, you know, driving their cars, and they're all just, you know, wanting to climb higher and make money. And like, yeah, it's pretty like saddening. But then I guess you have to just, look at the positives and find, you know, people that are doing the different thing, you know, the alternative lifestyle, you know, doing veganism, and then that gives you a little bit more hope. And in terms of veganism, like we've seen it change over the last 5 years. Like growing up, we kind of just felt like so abnormal. It was just our family versus the world. But I guess now with like social media and, you know, discovering, you know, people across the world, it's been like, oh wow, you know, there's other people out there, and, you know, there's some hope now, which hopefully is going to continue to grow.
Nice.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of bad in the world, but there's also some good. It's a relief when you stumble across other vegans who have the same viewpoint. For me, seeing so much bullshit on YouTube where there's kind of people promoting mixed messages of veganism, saying it's just a diet, when you find people that think the same way you do about veganism, it's a real relief, and you feel like, yeah, you've got people around you that think the same and they're here for the animals, and it's really good.
What is the most common question that you get from non-vegans about you being vegan?
Where do you get your protein?
Where do you get your protein?
Same old.
Yeah. That is the one.
I don't hang around non-vegans that much, so because my family's vegan, I spend probably 99% of my time is with other vegans, so I don't really get asked that many questions these days. But in school it was, why don't you eat this? Why don't you do that? So it's the why.
Would you like to try this? Like at university, like people that I was hanging out with for years, you know, if you were stranded on an island and there was you and a cow and you're about to die, like just really stupid stuff. And like, yeah, I guess the same, like after, you know, going to school and uni, I no longer, like, it sounds a bit harsh, but want to, you know, associate with people, like go out to coffee or lunch with non-vegans and like watch them, you know, eating their death. So I kind of, avoid that if possible, which I guess, I'm just, you know, saying, that's it. If you want to hang out with me, then we go to a vegan place, and that's what you've got to do.
What do you think is the most common misunderstanding or misconception that people have about veganism?
It's like a hippie kind of cult thing. You know, we're just you know, off with the fairies, like wandering around. Like I guess it's seen, still being is a little bit abnormal, but it's changing. Like, and it's in social media and it's becoming more of a norm.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's more, you know, in terms of like the health plant-based thing. So I guess there's good and bad with it. Like, you know, you want celebrities to be, you know, talking about veganism, but then at the same time when they're not actually doing veganism, it's a bit annoying, because then it sends out the wrong idea to people that are just wanting to copy that.
Biggest misconception, I think a lot of non-vegans think that we're on this kind of this moral superiority and that we're trying to elevate ourselves to be better than everyone else, but in fact we're just trying to get everyone on the same level, human and non-human. That's I get that a lot. You're just trying to be better than me. That's not. We're just trying to make everyone the same and everyone respect everyone, every living thing. So that's probably the biggest misconception for me.
So a last question that's not really about veganism, but is if you could travel in time as far forward or as far backwards as you wanted, but only once, so you would have to live the rest of your life there, would you go somewhere? And if so, where would you go? What time?
I wouldn't travel anywhere. I'd stay in the present, just to see in the next couple of years what happens with veganism, just to kind of stick amongst it. Just to keep, because there's so many things going on in the world right now with veganism. This is like a critical point where it's becoming mainstream, everyone's hearing about it, so I want to see what happens in the next 5 years, if it just keeps growing or if it kind of slows down. So I'll stay in the present.
Cool. If you're staying in the present, I guess I would go back in the past. I could go back like almost 100 years, I'd say. Like, I know it'd be pretty, like, you know, basic and there'd be no technology, none of this, but if I could know what I know now, like take some of that back with me, then I'll try and make some changes and pave the way, you know, earlier on, because it's, you know, we're waking up now, but it's kind of that almost too late point. So if I could, go back and be some, like, you know, shining crusader back then it would give us a little head start.
Yeah. Start a YouTube channel. Back then.
Back then,
how would you go about it, actually? Maybe make speeches?
Yeah, exactly. It would be really old-fashioned, like, you know, kind of, just standing up in the crowd and, doing it that way.
You'd seem like such a smart person because you would know everything.
Yeah.
Not saying that you're not.
That's true, burnt at the stake. See how I go.
Thank you guys so much for joining me in this interview.
That's all right. Thank you, Jessica. Excellent questions.
Yes. Very, very well done. Thank you so much for having us.
And I'll be uploading this to my channel, so go and check out the acrobatic animal. Link will be found down below.
There you go.
Yeah, and link to these two people on my channel will be in the description below as well.
Cup and Car.
That was Jarious and Khadi. Really nice people. I'm so happy I met them, and hopefully I'll meet them again one day, maybe in Australia. And if you like what you saw there, please go visit their channels. They're really nice. Forever Vegan and The Vegan Dancer Girl. And if you want to see more of my videos, just subscribe down below and leave a comment. It always makes me happy. And click the like button if you like this video.